Thursday. So for a while I've been wanting to see if I can make like a literal crystal dragon, combining like growing crystals with my more usual crafting methods, and today we're going to give it a go. So my plan is to crochet a dragon base. It's probably going to look a little bit bold. Like I'm going to leave a lot of like the usual spikes and like frills and details off it, and then use alum powder to grow crystals on it and just sort of see what we end up with. So I do have the alum powder in a bunch of different colors. But I also know that you can get just regular alum powder from like the pickling section in the grocery store. It's just the stuff I got today is like little like crystal powder kits. So I thought I would try the pre-colored stuff just as like a baby step because I've never done this before. So we're going to take a moment here and we're going to match it up with some yarn. So for today, I think I'm going to match the clear crystals with some pink, the blue crystals with some blue. And I know this color kind of looks orangey red, but it is apparently pink. So we're going to match that up with some yellow, because then even if it does turn out orangey red, it'll still look nice, but it'll look nice with the pink as well. So we're just hedging our bets a little bit there. So I've never grown crystals before. Of course, this is the first time I'm trying it. So we're going to start with a really small experiment, and it's going to take the form of crocheting over a small granite rock, because granite rock is the recommended base for this. So I feel like that's a nice little baby step. And I want to keep this thematic, so we're going to call it the dragon egg. So I found this one particular rock that looks quite eggish, and I'm going to crochet over the top of it. Now I am going to be using my acrylic yarn today, just because there is a good chance that this is going to spend the next 2 months submerged in water, and I feel like a plasticky acrylic yarn is going to hold up a little bit better than a natural fibre in that situation. So that's my thought process there. And yeah, the powder suggested that we use the granite rock as a base, and so I feel like putting crochet over the top of a granite rock is kind of me compromising. I'm meeting them halfway. So there is our little rock, which brings us to the crystal part of this. So this is our official science bench. I need to go get some safety glasses for safety. There we go. Safe. So I have my little egg here. I have a little container to do the crystal growing in, and I have the crystals themselves. So now what I need is some boiling water. So I'm just going to go get some boiling water. Hold on. There we go. So it's just 50 ml of boiling water in there. And I'm following instructions from a kit in case that's not completely obvious. And I'm just supposed to dissolve as much of this powder into that amount of water as I can. I can do that. They even gave me a little helpful stirring implement. Went on a special trip this morning just to get distilled water, because apparently that works better. The minerals in your tap water can apparently interfere with this process. It's going to be trying to be all vaguely scientific. I apparently want to hold a little bit of it back to sprinkle on top or something. Okay, I think we're reaching a point where no more will absorb, which sucks because there's still a lot of this packet left. Okay. Saving about that much? Okay, and then we're supposed to let the water cool down slightly, but I'm kind of letting it do that anyway. Oh, I'm actually already thinking I'm seeing crystals starting to form. That's kind of exciting. I didn't know it was going to happen that quickly. Alrighty, we have our little container. I don't want to like mess with boiling water just to get a good shot, so you're just going to have to deal with me. Doing it all the way over here. I'm going to pour, and I'm going to submerge my rock in the water. Here it goes. This is the last time it's going to look like this. Next time you see it, it's going to have some lovely crystalline behavior happening. This container is not deep enough to really cooperate. That's good. We're learning. Okay, and now I'm going to take this. I'm going to pop it to one side for it to like set up properly. Did I think this room's organization through? No, I did not. Thank you for asking. All right, let's do another one. For this second one, I kind of don't want to go too far outside of my comfort zone. So, you know, we're going to increase the difficulty, but we're going to like keep it reasonable. And I recently crocheted Venusaur, and I'm very proud of my Venusaur. He currently lives on my desk, but I think that the base of him might make a really cool base for a crystal dragon. It's just instead of the flower, I think we replace it with crystal. So we're just going to whip up a Venusaur base. really quickly. And I think I like the blues for this particular one, like pairing the blue yarn with the blue crystals, because I think it kind of gives it a little bit of an icy theme, which is appropriate for crystals, I think. And look, knowing the part of the process is leaving them submerged in water, I'm going to stuff them with alfoil, which is aluminium or aluminum, depending on where you are, foil, just to stop them getting too waterlogged. And we're just going to see if that helps. This is me just assuming problems I haven't had yet. Okay, there is our little ice gremlin. He does look peeled without his flower, but that's okay. We're gonna submerge him. Hopefully we get like a nice thick coating of some kind of crystal. I don't really mind if they're big and spiky or even if they're just like little and glittery. Some kind of crystal on the back I would consider a win for this one here. So let's get him cooking now. Okay, so we are here with our little icy Venusaur. We're gonna need to name it something else. There is our little gremlin. I'm gonna learn from the first one in that we need a bigger container. So I have rummaged deep in my cupboard and found a nice glass bowl for us to use this time. And I have the blue crystals here, but I also have a little bit of the clear crystals left here. And I've also got the packet of green, and I think we're gonna have to mix the two together to get enough to get a really satisfying result. Now the problem here is that I only really want to submerge like the top of this guy. All right, so I'm thinking that I can just like skewer him and like hang him so he's hanging like just off the base. Crochet does lend itself to being skewered pretty nicely. It's basically just a giant pin cushion. And sorry mate, I assure you I do feel evil, but it'll be worth it when you're ready for the ball. It's a bit rough being Venusaur today. Good thing Mr. Bones isn't watching. This sort of thing upsets him a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. Look at this poor little guy. Oh, we'll pop that to one side. I'm gonna go get some more boiling water. Excuse me. And we're back, and we have the boiling water. I don't know if it's gonna be enough. We might have to lower the Venusaur again. But in the meantime, let's just get this all dissolving. And I had an idea that I think might help anchor the crystals themselves. Deal with that in a second. First, we better just get this dissolving. Oh, it's a very pretty blue. Did you guys see that? Oh, I'm gonna use the same stick because it was only used in the clear, so there's not like any dye contamination or anything. That is very blue. And we mix. You'll see, yeah, now my pop stick is blue. I'm gonna need a different one for the next lot. I might save the clear for like seeding the back, but we're gonna need the green in this mix as well, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully the colors work nicely together. This is why you always have extra materials on hand. I have way more crystal powder than I needed. And now everything's going to be okay. That is turning the most beautiful turquoise colour. You see that okay? Okay, that's 2 full packets of crystal powder, which is just alum powder and dye. Pretty. Look at that. Okay. If I pour that in there, it's going to get very shallow very quickly. So let's just adjust these skewers some more. In fact, I may even just let his head rest in there. That could be the solution to this problem. It's like lots of like powdery stuff. It's like buttering a scone. Except it's not butter or a scone. And the action is completely different. Can I just like fit you in there to like scrapey? I could have before the skewers. There we go. That was more effective. All right. So we've got some on there. I'm going to give him a little dip. Oh my, yes. That's already really fun. And then I'm going to sprinkle the clear crystals like directly on top of him. Now I shouldn't really be touching this with my bare hands. There's no real reason not to, but like it's just one of those things like if you're playing with stuff, you don't like risk spreading it all over the place. But like, let's just pop you back in there. Kind of wish your butt was a little further down. This is why I tried to get organized before. It didn't really work for me, did it? There we go. Are we in the water? Okay, we are in the water. We're going to turn out slightly greener than expected. But we're going to pop this to one side with our egg. And then I have one more thing that we're going to try. All right, so that's 2 of them done, but I just want to try one more. It's not going to be fundamentally different from the blue one, but we're going to try designing up something a little bit more from scratch in the case for a yellow one. So something that's a little bit more my style of dragon. And this one here is going to be yellow with our pink crystals growing on it. So I'm going to put it in a little bit more of an upright position, and we're going to see if we can get the crystals growing. So from the head down to the tail specifically, it's probably going to look the same to you guys, but it feels like a very different experiment to me. Because I'm like a little bit on the fence about fully submerging him or not, I'm fully stuffing him with alfoil this time, just to hedge my bets. So like the Venusaur had a little bit more of a lining. This guy is fully stuffed with alfoil. And you might notice that I'm fully assembling my dragons before I'm adding them to the crystals. That's just because I'm assuming any crystal growth will be quite fragile, so I'm trying to minimize how much I have to touch them afterwards. Okay, so I whipped up this little guy. I hope you love him because I love him. He's probably going to be released as a pattern on the channel in the not too distant future, just because I think he's a really cute, I don't know what to call him. He's like a sitting lizard. But anyway, he's our little like baby dragon dumpling there. So I'm kind of hoping the crystals might look a little bit like wings, a little bit on the tail, a little bit on the head, but like literally as long as I can try and get a stripe down the back, I'm going to consider him a victory. He still might end up fully submerged though, and I've gotten his permission. He's fine with it. Yep, 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 yep. So for our third little guy, I just went and grabbed the boiling water while I had the chance. I have a glass canister. I have our little friend who does fit all the way down inside, assuming he does not float, which is just a whole other problem. And I don't think we have enough liquid to submerge him, but let's get this crystal stuff stirring anyway while we make some decisions. Oh, I need a new popsicle stick. Oh, that is going to come out pink. I'm so good at this. Hi. So, how's everyone's day? Anyone got any tea? This is forbidden tea. Okay, that pink is all dissolved. I actually had to get a different beaker because when I went back to use my other beaker, I have, surprise, surprise, a bunch of crystals. It didn't even sit that long. There's a bunch of crystals growing in my container, which frankly bodes well for what we're doing here today. I might have to mix that, and I'm trying to decide if I want to mix that with fluoro orange or red. I don't know, what do you think, buddy? The orange is calling to him. I'm going to have just enough. I thought I had twice as much as I needed, but it turns out I'm going to have just enough to do this today. So it's, I'm glad I was prepared. Still have to decide what exactly I'm going to do with your mate. We're just going to go for like a straight up dunking maybe. Which is pretty much the same thing that we did with Venusaur. All dissolved yet? Nope, I think we have reached a saturation point. All right, let's pour it into the container and see what we're working with. Pop out of there. Say hi to your fans. Ah, not like that. Came out quite red looking. like strap a little rock to his belly to keep him in. That kind of works. I'm worried that if he's flat on there, that the crystals will grow flat. Or like a weird shape. Oh, his little head's gotten completely submerged. I was hoping this would be a slightly more satisfying experience for everybody, but I hope I'm not stressing anybody out too much. There we are. I'm just grabbing his toes. Because it's allowed to be broken, it's just there to keep him upright. So there we are, that's just splintered him a little bit. And there is our second experiment. We're gonna pop that one to one side too. Okay, well, with all of those set to one side, that's all we can really do right now. So okay, do you want to see how they're all set up? Look, there they are. So that is where we will be leaving them for a while. But I just wanted to show you exactly what's going to be sitting on my desk for the next, well, anywhere from a day to 8 weeks, depending on which source I look at. So, yeah. All right, folks, quick update. It's been about 24 hours and we've got something really interesting happening. Look at all those little crystals forming on top of the feet. Look Look how fine these little crystals are, these little branches growing off his little feet. Look at that. I'm tempted to turn him over because now I'm worried that crystals won't be growing on the underside. Not much is happening with this one here yet, but it still has plenty of time. And he's just looking a little bit fluffy, a little bit crusty. We are going to be leaving them for a while yet, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a 24-hour update. Look at this absolute doofus. I'm just about to go to bed for the night and he is growing all of his crystals out of his feet. I'm not really sure if I should just turn him upside down at this point. The others are being far more well behaved. Like the orange guy is just getting a little crusty and the egg is just not doing anything. But I feel like maybe I just flip him over at this point. I don't want to disturb his lovely little ear tuft. It's just like, this feels like wasted crystal growth. Okay, we're going to try and turn him. Hold on. You hold that there like that. Mr. Bones is assisting. Oh, this crystal's falling as I do this. Oh no. I'm gonna get it on my hands. That should be fine, right? I just want... Oh, he's so crunchy. Oh, that's just gonna have to come straight through. Ah. You're rather attached to that piercing, aren't you, mate? Come on, give that one back. All right. And we're just gonna sit you up the right way and just see if that helps stimulate a little bit of growth. These little crystals, they're very pretty, but they're not quite what we're looking for. This is a little bit more what I expected. He's just getting like a little bit of crystal activity everywhere, like the water is evaporating. You can see like a lot of it in the bottom of the container there, see? I'm going to leave it overnight again and just come back in the morning and see how they're all doing because, as mentioned, the only one not doing anything at all is our first little initial test, which I have to assume that I've done wrong in some regard because there's not even really crystals forming in the bottom. It's just not really doing anything, but it's here and it's doing its best, I guess. All right, this is the next morning. What do you guys think? Did I make the right choice? Because now he's got a fuzzy butt. His forehead is starting to fuzz up a little bit. He's got some fuzzy eyebrows. His leg fluffies are still present and accounted for. I just don't know what to do with you, mate. Should I turn you over? That's the next real question here, isn't it? The egg, still nothing. You, should I turn you over? Let's have a look and see what happens when I lift him out of the case. Oh, look at that. He's got little eyebrows. I'm going to put him back in very carefully. I like what's happening there. We're going to leave him upside down. Okay, well, we are going to keep leaving this. I don't think this feels done yet. We are running out of liquid in the bottom of the container, except for you. You recalcitrant egg. Okay, it is almost midnight on Saturday at this point. Look how fuzzy his butt is. He's got fun eyebrows. We love the fun eyebrows. Let's see if we can get some shots in there. Hello, friend. He has really fuzzy leg warmers still. The crystal growth is very, very fragile on him, which is... I don't think that's supposed to look like this. Now, on this one, we're getting some really nice actual crystals forming. And he's actually going to be a crystal dragon, I think, which is quite exciting. And then, of course, still nothing on Signora Egg. None of them are doing quite what I thought they would do, but it's still been fun. Okay, so it's not the next morning, it's actually the next evening because I had to stream, but we've just wrapped it up and I wanted to give you guys a little update on how our little crystals are looking. Okay, so the egg still has some little air bubbles, not a lot of crystal activity. This guy is just getting fluffier and fluffier. Like, I don't really know what to do about this. He has some actual crystals forming on his face a little bit. You can kind of see them in there. Just a little bit of glitter here and there, but it's just, he's mainly large and fluffy. And I don't really know. I'm just not sure if that's normal. And then we have this fellow. If I tilt the water away, you can see we've got one on his schnoz and a whole bunch happening on his eyebrows there. And they've actually formed all over the skewers as well. And he's got some tufty bits growing here and there as well. But like he's mostly getting actual crystals growing, which is kind of fun. Look how fuzzy he got. Truly magnificent. Okay, just real quickly, it's a couple of days later. I have removed the sticks from our little third yellow guy here. This guy is looking extremely fluffy. Just like extremely fluffy. Fluff to the extreme. He's also got no water left, or a little bit of water left. So he is drying out really nicely. I think we might need to get him out of his bowl soon. He himself is still quite wet. The egg, look, guys, that's a crystal. That's the closest we have to what I thought this was actually going to turn into. So I'm just going to leave that one as alone as possible. And Then we've got this, who's just trucking along. He's got some pretty little spike formations on his tail and on his head, on his eyeballs. But he's still got lots of liquid there, so I'm just going to let that take its course. I know you can pour the liquid out, but I'm not going to. We're just going to let him develop at his own pace. This guy here, I think we're going to have to lift out of the bowl real soon, but we're going away for the weekend, and I'm thinking that I might just like leave them as is and see what we come back to. And that is where they sat for days. No, this is me back. There has been several days since we've checked in. We've got a lot of interesting crystal activity, as we can see in each of them. Though there is still just a little bit of liquid in the bottom. We might end up just pouring that out. So I'm going to pull these out of their containers and we're going to see what we've ended up with, because I think it is time for this experiment to end, at least for these two. This one here I'm inclined to like run for as long as there's still liquid in it, because like we're getting some really interesting stuff happening. So yeah, it's been 2 weeks and I think it's time to pull them out of their containers and give them a chance to dry out properly. For context, today is Wednesday, and if all goes to plan, you're going to be seeing this video, What Is My Tomorrow, on Thursday, so no delay there. But I want to give them about 24 hours to dry out before I get like final shots. So let's pull them out of the containers and see what we're actually working with here. Okay, so popping those two to one side for a second, we have our little egg friend here, and that is the clearest shot I think I've been able to give you this whole time of the crystal structures starting to grow on it. And at the moment I actually think I want to leave this guy in his water for longer, because I can like full on reach in and pick him up. He has a bunch of crystally stuff attached to him down there, if you can see that. I kind of just like, I feel like I can leave him a couple more weeks, but I kind of want to wrap this video up, so we're going to fish the other two out. I just wanted to make sure we gave our egg a moment in the sun, because like look at that, for example. See how we've got some really cool crystals in there? That's a perfect little crystalline structure happening. And yeah, so with this one here, I want to leave it for as long as it wants to keep growing, but maybe we'll do an update in a couple of months and see how we go, because it has only been 2 weeks and it did say it could take as long as 8. So we'll pop him down. This guy here is the show. So this is our second guy. He's our big Venusaur-based gremlin. And good news on him. His crystals actually set relatively hard. Don't get me wrong, some of them are still very fragile. But he's who we're going to fish out, and I'm going to put him on, this is an old plastic container lid, but it's got a little lip around it in case he oozes. And we're going to get him out of his jar and we're going to set him up on this and have a better look at him. So I want to touch him as little as possible, because if you look in, you'll see he still has lots of these big branches, and I want to preserve as many as possible. But I think if I can get something under him and lift, I mean, I could always use a hook, I suppose. But no, I'm going to go get a spoon. I'm back with a spatula. Okay, so I want you to all mourn this ahead of time, because I'm pretty sure those ones at the back are going to break off. I only get one shot at this, and I'm a little bit tense. So yeah, there's just no way those are surviving. Like, they're already crumbling as I try and get the spoon in there. Dang, maybe I try just with the fingers. Where's the safest spots to put them? Oh, it crumbled beneath my hands. There we go. He's free of his prison. Pop him down on the container real quick. He crumbles everywhere. Got a bunch of crystally stuff left in the bottom of the container. And fun fact, I could just redissolve this and use it to grow more crystals, and I might. But for now, I'm going to pop that to one side. And we're going to get some decent shots of this guy. Now, what I think happened with his crystals is I think that the yarn soaked up all of the moisture, right? And then I think that moisture got spread out over such a fine area that evaporated it really, really quickly. And so it formed all of these little fractals instead of a denser crystal structure. Now, don't get me wrong, chunks of him have flaked off, but I do think he's in a relatively stable condition here. Oh, wow, his chin is amazing. Okay, I'm going to change the camera angle so that you guys can see. Hold on. Look at that chin crystal structure. That's beautiful. His eyes are a little cloudy. He's got amazing bushy eyebrows. Just amazing. And the end of his nose got smushed against the glass a little bit. So that's a bit funny. But if we pull back a bit, he is a proper terraforming plant dragon of sorts. His butt lost some of its tufts, but his legs are still nice and tufty. And he's got, oh, there's some more of those really nice crystals in there, actually. Can you see those just in there? Let's my giant finger pointing, and a few more down that leg. And so like, I feel like even if all the fuzzy stuff falls off, I think we've still got something pretty cool there. So I think if I was doing this one here again, why are we so, hold on, let's try that. Oh, that's better. Hi. Sorry if things were a bit foggy up until that moment. Apparently the lens was dirty. So yeah, I think if I was doing him again, I would put a cover over the container, and I would start him up the right way. Maybe seed his back with certain crystals, but I would like put a cover over the container to slow down the rate of evaporation. So, but I do still think we got some really cool, like the jaw is everything I wanted this experiment to be. There's some of the stuff that's happening on the feet is pretty cool too. So I'm going to let him dry for the next 24 hours, but this is his final form as far as our experiment today. I'm tempted to try and chip the crystals off his eyes, but maybe once everything's dried off, we'll edit him. So yeah, this stuff on top's a little crunchy, but I can touch it and it doesn't just chip straight off. So like this stuff here is probably going to stick around. It's just this fluffier stuff down the side that I just don't think is going to make it. Anyway, let's do the next one. Okay, so for this last one, I thought about taking us back to the top-down view, but I really think you're getting a better view from across the way here, so we're going to do it from there. So this is what the bottom of his container looks like. See, we've got a lot of like crystals growing along where the edge of the water was for a long time when evaporation slowed down, which is what's led me to the theories about this guy. But this guy here has some really fun crystal stuff going on. Oh, I've knocked you. Oh no. So this guy has a little drying platform of his own. And I'm just going to go in with the fingies because he doesn't have a lot of really fragile branches. So reach on in. Oh, he's so much heavier than he was. And he still had just a little bit of liquid left in his container. So this drying period is really more for him than for the other one. So let's give you a really good look inside there. That's what that all looks like. Now that, once again, I could just add hot water to that and reliquefy it. I've got more crystal liquid. And here's our third little guy who is sitting in a little bit of a puddle, but did manage to get some actual crystals forming. So yeah, he's got this beautiful crystal structure on top of his head and down his cheeks and across his nose. He weighs so much more than he did before, but part of that might be he's still very wet. He's ended up with very orange crystal crusty stuff all down his front. So he's been eating some strawberries. You can see that gorgeous little crystal halo across his top there. And he has one really fun eyebrow happening. So not quite what we originally envisioned. But he's doing his best, and I'll be interested to see what he looks like when he's completely dry, because he's got like the start of one tiny little back spine right there. But he's got a little bit happening on his tail. He's just a little fella doing his little best. So yeah, I am going to put our two little guys out here back on the windowsill to dry out a little bit more over the next 24 hours. And then we'll get you some final shots, and I'm going to take those shots on the day the video is going to be available. But I don't know, I kind of feel like I learned a lot from this process, and I would do things a little bit differently if I tried this again. So let me know in the comments if you want me to try this whole crystal dragon thing again. This time doing some things to slow down the rate of evaporation, and I think anchoring them to the bottom of the container, and I think allowing like 2 months for the crystals to grow rather than 2 weeks. Yeah, I think those are the things I would do differently. You let me know if you're interested in seeing it. But these little guys are going back out on